From Excel 2010, Microsoft has introduced a new feature to filter a pivot table report. It is Slicer. In the screen, you are seeing I have created two pivot table reports using our old raw data. In the first pivot table, I have added two filters, Account Manager and State or Province. Now, a slicer does the same thing as a filter does. The difference is that slicers offer a user-friendly interface that enables you to see the current filter state. You can add slicer in two ways. Select a cell within the pivot table report for which you want to add a slicer. Now in the Analyze Contextual tab, click on this Insert Slicer command. Insert Slicers dialog box appears, and in the dialog box, you see all the data fields are listed. I select Account Manager and State or Province option from this list, and then I click OK. Two slicers are created. One is for State or Province and another one is for Account Manager. Now I set these two slicers in a better location. You can also create a slicer right-clicking on a data field. Say I right-click on Order Date and there is an option here, Add as Slicer. If I click on this command, then Order Date slicer will be created. A slicer has two controls on the upper right corner. First one is multi-select and another one is clear filter. To select multiple options from this slicer, you have to click on the multi-select option. When multi-select is selected, it shows in yellow color. I click again on it to take it to gray color again. Now I click on AL. The pivot table is showing only sales data for Alabama state now. And see, one important thing here, in the Account Manager slicer, only Ashley Friedman is selected because in the state Alabama, only Ashley Friedman works. Another important thing is, in the State or Province filter, AL state is showing. In the Account Manager filter, rather than all, it should show Ashley Friedman, but unfortunately it is showing all. Maybe it is a programming bug. To clear filtering, just click on this Clear Filter control. Now all the sales data are showing for all the states and for all the account managers. Now I will show you one important thing. You have noticed that when I filter this pivot table, no effect occurs in our second pivot table. But you can filter two pivot tables at a time using one slicer. To do that, you have to connect the slicer for both the pivot tables. Right-click on the State or Province slicer, then click on this Report Connections option from the drop-down. Report Connections for State or Province dialog box appears. In the dialog box, right now only the pivot table 1 is selected. I select also pivot table 2 option. Then I click OK. Now I select only L from the State or Province slicer. Both the pivot tables are showing reaction to this filtering. I select California state. I select Florida. Now let's see how you can delete a slicer. Right-click on the slicer that you want to delete. In the drop-down, you will find an option, Remove with the slicer name. Just select this option, the slicer is removed. So these are the ways to work with slicers.